Hello, Jamie. So same. What up, everyone? There we go. Let's talk. Are you calling me, love?
Am I calling you now?
What's up?
Oh, you just went live?
I did, yes. Doesn't matter. What up, people? How you doing? Go on. Any. I'm here talking about sexism and misogyny, and yeah, I'm sending you to get me tea. That's bad. Hey, guys, how you doing? What's up? Let's talk. Listen. Let's talk. A lot's happening. Today we're not talking politics. Tandy. Either you're waving, are you doing the wave for me or are you doing the chinja? I don't know anymore. Whenever I go live and I see this, I'm seeing chinja. The bullet train chamisa's in the house, I guess. What up, people? How's everyone doing? Blah Vusi. Ngoma Benson Madina, how you doing? Sam, how you doing? Mike, how you doing? Bianca, Brian, Tandy, Tappy, I see everybody. How you guys doing? Claire, how you doing? Listen. Yo, Mia, how you doing? Anymore, how you doing? Listen, guys, what's up? So today we're talking a very sensitive subject. See, I woke up this morning and I saw there's a message from my Mzukuru Bren Mupa, and it was a voice note. It was a voice note from a leaked voice note by Brother Blaqs, Vusa Blaqs, and the voice note was kind of disturbing. I heard the voice note this morning, and it was extremely disturbing to hear, especially from one of my friends who I know better. And so I heard this really crazy voice note. And so I sort of try to trace back what happened, try and understand the context in which this voice note was sent. Can anyone just jump in? Now, full disclosure is the first thing I must say is that I'm a son. I mean, I shout out to my mother Beatrice Ndoro, who's just come online. So I have mothers. I'm a husband. You know, I have a wife I love dearly. I'm a father of two daughters. One of my young daughters really loves the arts. She loves singing and so forth. She's very smart. She loves acting and so forth. And I'm also a brother to some sisters. So today, so I thought let me have a look at what Amanda had to say about the film industry. So I went and checked out the Zimbo Live TV video of what Amanda was saying about the film industry. Now, if you watch some of the videos I've worked on, I'll give you an example. If you watch the video for, I directed the video for Titan Dipe Moyo. Okay, now the video for Dipe Moyo is set in a hospital, and it has two of the young ladies from Wenera in the cast. One's name is Pride, and I forgot the other lady's name. Two young ladies from Bulawayo, and they live at the Wenera house in Greendale. So when I heard the things that Amanda was saying, okay, something happened in the sense that a lot of bells started ringing in my head. Ding, 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 ding. And these bells were because nothing that Amanda was saying was a surprise to me. Now, the music industry and the film industry and the arts industry are very interconnected. I'm a number award-winning director. I remember I directed Chamchi Changamire and a few different other things. So I've hung out with a bunch of these guys before. So nothing that Amanda was saying was surprising to me. What made me feel really bad was that I feel like as a participant in the arts industry in Zimbabwe, I have become complicit. I have become very complicit in some of these things that happen, which everybody sort of knows is happening, but nobody speaks out against. Hey, Olinda, how you doing? I hope I can add you just now. Cool. So it took me back. So I want you to bear with me, please. I'm going to take up too much of your time. I want you to bear with me. So I went to Prince Edward School, and at Prince Edward School, a lot of my friends, like people like Carl, Joshua, and Mube, and them, can testify that at Prince Edward School, we all knew of the abuse, sexual and physical abuse of young boys by a certain breed of teachers and groups. Okay? We all knew about it. Right? Now, the reason why we didn't speak up against when we knew that some young people were being sexually abused at Prince Edward School. Now, what I'm saying here, it affects a lot of people. So I'm not going to say names. What I am going to do is I'm going to let you guys understand this. That if I was braver as a younger man at Prince Edward School, I could have stopped the sexual abuse and harassment of many, many young boys who then came after me. It took my mother. Now, this is where the story gets kind of crazy. My mother, Sylvia Musasiwa, became a teacher at Prince Edward School. And she was a counselor, one of the counselors for the boys. Okay? And it took my mother, when I was now in the UK at university, it took my mother to bring down one of the most serious rings of pedophiles and sexual abuse that was happening at a school that I used to love. Now, the reason why a lot of people like me did not speak up at Prince Edward was because, first of all, you want to make the first teams, you want to join, you want to become, you want to become a prefect, you want to sort of fit into the status quo. Now, you find me, any Prince Edward boy right now, circa 1998 and below, who did not know that there was systematic sexual abuse to young boys at Prince Edward. I'll wait. We all knew what was going on, and by our silence, we were complicit in the sexual harassment and the sexual abuse of young boys at Prince Edward School. This is a fact, okay? Now, the thing is, when I've said this in public before, other boys from other schools have said, you know what, shit, it's actually true as well that in our hostels, the same things was happening. It doesn't matter whether it's Alan Wilson, it doesn't matter if it's Alice Robbins, it doesn't matter. It's just we all knew of systematic, and when I say systematic, I mean it goes all the way to the top. The cover-ups went all the way to the top. And my mother, see, the thing is, I only discovered this when my mother, who then started teaching at the school that I went to, came to the UK and then explained to me this huge ring of pedophiles. They were coming through as exchange students. They were coming through as teachers. They were teaching weird the arts and music and debate, all that kind of shit. And these were the guys who were sexually abusing a bunch of boys. And it took a couple of young, brave boys to then step up, who told my mother some of these things. And then my mother went ape shit and then pretty much brought down a whole ring. I think, eventually speaking, the whole ring, including the top guy, were culled from the school. Unfortunately, because this school was the gem, the jewel of the government schools, unfortunately because of that, the scandal never made the papers. You know, there was a lot of things that were covered up, because you didn't want the gem of the schools, Prince Edward, being this school with people being sexually abused. Okay, now I was never a victim of sexual abuse. I may have been lucky. Maybe I wasn't good looking enough. I don't know. But what I'm telling you now is that there was actual systematic sexual abuse at Prince Edward in my generation, which is around 1996 and below. I started in 1993 to 1996. I started there at Form 3 up to Upper 6. Okay, I was a Gateway before. I left Gateway, went to Prince Edward, and in Prince Edward, I discovered a whole system that was in place of silence, number one, a whole system of hush, and no one says this, but everyone in the back, in the corridors, used to whisper and say these things, so we all knew that this was actually happening. Okay? I want to ask that you not sit here.
I want to listen.
No, I know, but you can listen on your live. The wife wants to sit. I won't be able to concentrate.
Fine.
Go watch me somewhere else. All right, baby. So what actually happened? Thank you to my wife. She just bought me some tea. She knows I love tea. So the reason why today, when Brent sent me that message by Blaqs, it sort of brought all those emotions and feelings back, because we all knew about the systematic abuse of young boys at Prince Edward. Okay? Number two, the reason why people like me, even at Prince Edward, we were very vocal. I mean, me, Carl, Joshua, and Nube were editors of the Prince Edward School Times. Sorry, someone is calling me. The reason why a lot of us were... I need you to tell Shami to stop calling my phone, please, because she keeps disrupting the feed. They say, Kuda will call you back just now. The reason why people like me didn't... sorry, guys, Cameron keeps calling my phone and disrupting the feed. The reason why people like me didn't stand up and speak about the sexual abuse that was happening at Prince Edward School in my era is because, first of all, we didn't want to jeopardize our own chances at privilege. We didn't want to not become prefects or whatever else. Number two, you didn't want to be isolated and become the guy who brings down the school, because there's a very strong sense of tradition and pride in the school. Now, a lot of my friends who are still very, very, very into the whole where Prince Edward, maroon and green, will be very upset with me for saying what I'm saying right now. Because some people are still stuck in the time warp. Because some people at Prince Edward was the best time of their life. So they've never moved past it. However, for me, I mean, I ended up going to university. City University was far more exciting. When I left there, my work experience in London. So I've detached myself from the school. But I can tell you now that there was a big, big code of silence at Prince Edward. And if you ask any of the boys who were there in my era, we all knew. We all knew. We all knew who the gay teachers were. We all knew the teachers who were buggering boys. We all knew the little boys who were being moved around in cars at night and who could call the teachers by name. We all knew the young kids in drama who were being abused. We all knew it. We all knew it. But we all were complicit and didn't say anything. And like I said, it took my mother about 7-8 years later, teaching at the same school I went to actually unravel that whole pedophile ring that happened. Now, I don't know if it still exists, but I do know that at that point in time, that whole ring of pedophiles and abuse for these young boys stopped immediately. Okay, so now let's move forward. We get to a space now where we are older. Okay? There was an opportunity for my wife to go work at an organization, a government organization, which is a parastatal. And she was offered this position. My wife, very intelligent, smart, articulate. And I was in the room when she said, fuck no, I'm not going to go work for that particular organization, because the particular head of that organization is well known for the way he treats young girls in his grasp. Now, this is obviously because of there was an affinity to the Miss Zim world or some shit. There was a lot of things going on, but there's a couple of particular big heads of industry in Zimbabwe where we actually know, okay, that they systematically abuse young women for the purpose of saying to these young women, if you want to go further in this pageant or whatever, you have to sleep with this particular boss or this particular chief, okay? Now, all the models I've ever known, and remember, because I'm in the advertising industry, I've dealt with a lot of young models and so forth, they also know about who the names of these men are, okay? They know them systematically by name, the name of these men who regularly abuse their power and their privilege to abuse young women who are yearning for grafts, yearning for positions in pageants, yearning for different accolades and so on and so forth. So this is well known, okay? But again, let me dig a little bit deeper, okay? In the music industry, there are a lot of young women. I mean, due to the big proliferation of things like Britain's Got Talent and all these kind of things, you need to understand that a lot of young people aspire to be superstars. We are living in that digital age where everybody with a good voice can break and make 1 million views and suddenly become a super night sensation, okay? So there's our young children grow up wanting to be musicians, singers, rappers, and so forth. Now, I will speak personally as a rap hip-hop producer, because I produced a lot of hip-hop records. And there are a lot of young women who want to be rappers. Now, in our industry, it's a tiny industry compared to Sungura and others. Yeah, it's fucking tiny. Right? Even in our little industry, there's this notion called beats for beats. Okay? Beat for beats. Beat for beats. So if you let me beat, I'll give you a beat. It's a big thing. Now, it's an ongoing joke. It's an ongoing joke, but it's not a funny joke. Because it actually perpetuates another systemic usage of saying right. If you're a young female rapper and you want a hip-hop beat by this world-renowned producer or this award-winning producer, you're going to have to sleep with them first. It's almost an unwritten rule. And the thing is, I speak as an elder in the hip-hop industry to say my complicity is that I found this shit funny, I don't know, whatever. I never took it seriously. And I think this morning a lot of things hit home. And it takes a lot of people like me to not say anything. We just don't say anything. That these things then further perpetuate and become crazy. Now I know Vusa Blaqs well. You know, I worked with him on Titan's video for I think he helped us with Penge Penge. I think Vusa Blaqs helped us with Excuse Me, Adrian Tate, another big video. I mean, he's been a comrade. So what you don't do is at this point you don't dissociate yourself from comrades, and you don't throw them under the bus. What you must do is the first thing that I did this morning was I called him up, and I said, "My brother, what this is not you. Why would you now?" Whatever justifications he tried to say, like, look, you know what, it's in a group and you're with a bunch of lads and you're being hysterical and you're being silly and all these kind of things. But then he said, you know, my nigga, I'm really sorry. Like, I've got to a stage now where my Facebook is blowing up and I regret what I'm saying. My sisters are not happy with me. And like, if I knew that other people were hearing this, I would never have said this. He said, I'm going to put an apology and I thank you for reaching out. And he put up an apology, right? But listen to me now. What he said to me about, what struck me the most was when he said to me, if I had known that that anyone was going to hear this, I wouldn't have said this. This is when I thought, oh shit. So how many things are like this that I also don't say because I'm afraid to say them because people are hearing them. And what do I say in public? And what do I say in private? How do I feel in public? How do I feel in private? You see, because in private, all the Prince Edward boys can sit there and we can actually agree on, we know the names of the teachers who are buggering little boys at Prince Edward. We know them. We know their names. Okay? That's in private. But in public, I've never said it before. I've never said it before. In the music and the arts industry, I know the people who abuse their positions to take advantage of young women who are just aspiring to be young rappers, young singers, and so I know them by name. In private, we laugh about it. And I say laugh about it actually as in like, shit, man. Hey, that poor chick, she's gonna go deal with that nigga. Oh gosh, I'm gonna toast squad beans. We say it like it's a joke. We say it like it's a joke. In public, we don't. You see, Zimbabwe, when a member of Jah Praise's band came out and was brave enough to name names, name situations, times and places, she was attacked vehemently, aggressively, not by men, by the way, but by women. I repeat, when a member of the biggest pop star in this country, of their band, when she came out and she told you what was happening to her, the women tore her to fucking pieces. Now I know her. She's struggling out there. She hasn't had any opportunity to. She can't even make a record. She can barely get on TV. You know, how dare you go against the army mascot? How dare you go against the pride of the nation, the guy who's writing the theme music for the revolution? You see, I see all you women liking what I'm saying. How many of you have that artist's music on your phones? See, it's all good for you to attack blacks right now. I get it. He's an easy target. But how many of you are dancing to Jindabata right now? Go on, I'll wait. It's in your fucking playlists. And I'm not saying this so I can throw people under the bus. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about things that are in the public domain. Okay? Things that are in the public domain. What I'm saying, Marcy, so that you understand what I'm saying, is that Vusa Blaqs is not alone. Vusa Blaqs said a fucked up thing on a voice note that leaked. What about when Gonyet, not Gonyet Weduyao, what about when Gonyet came out and says, I have been systematically sexually abused in the band. I have been systematically sexually abused in the band. They held back my money. They held back my, they didn't take me to shows because I refused to give sexual favors to the boss of the band. What happened to the boss of the band? What happened to the boss of the band? He continues to win accolades every single day, and he continues to populate your phones with all of his tunes. Now, all I'm saying, I'm not even saying take a word for it, but at least as a population, let's at least interrogate and see some of the systematic problems that we're facing as a generation. How can we then crucify that young woman who said this is happening before we've even had an opportunity to understand what's happening? Why are we slut shaming her? Hey, whatever. She was slut shamed to death. That's a mother. It's a young woman. She was killed online. She was crucified. And the biggest perpetuators of the crucifixion were women, guys. No lie. I'm going to go a little bit deeper to something very, very personal and close to my heart. I would like you ladies to take a moment to go on to Fadzai Mahere's Twitter timeline. Take a moment. Go on to Fadzai Mahere's Twitter timeline. And I want you to read. I want you guys to read some of the comments that are said to Fadzai Mahere every single day by Zimbabwean men. These are men in your homes, your husbands, your brothers, your sons. I want you to go and read. In fact, if you want to do an experiment, go on Google, for example, and Google Fadzai Mahere and a word like Tsotswa beans. I want you to just Google some of that stuff. The amount of time she's crucified about, why are you not married? All these kind of things. I want you ladies to please do that for me, if you have a moment in time. Then you will start to realize that, oh my God, this is not just the movie industry. It's not just the music industry. It's not just in the school. It's online, on our Twitter feeds. Friends of ours, people we say are our friends, say the most horrible things to Fadzai Mahere. Say the most things. So Marcy's asking me, what are men doing? What have men done to... You know what, Marcy, what I'm saying is this. I'm not trying to put a blame game. And the thing is, when we start talking like this, now we're blaming each other. I don't want to blame each other. What I want to show you is that men are being assholes to Fadzai Mahere right now on Twitter, right? And women sometimes like the comments. It's very rare that a woman stands up and says, hold up, her marital status shouldn't matter, right? You shouldn't have a right to say that. Why are you constantly crucifying her about her father? What about her mother? Well, we have this weird patriarchal system in which women can be crucified in front of us and we say fuck all. We say bugger all, guys. We say bugger all. People who support Nelson Chamisa, I'll add you in a second, OC. In fact, I'm going to add you, but don't speak. I'll add you. People who support Nelson Chamisa, like me, should not feel that it's necessary, okay, to agree to let Makupe be called a whore online. That's somebody's mother, for God's sake. That's somebody's wife. Okay? Thokozani Kupe, whether we like her or not, is somebody's mother, somebody's wife. Right? And yet, today alone online, she's been called a whore, a hure, a bitch, a million times. Now, I remember getting attacked when Grace Mugabe was going around these rallies, and being crazy. And Grace Mugabe was crazy, bad shit crazy. And I kept saying, guys, as men, are we happy that this mother, this wife of somebody, whether we like her or not, is constantly being called a hure, is personally being called a bitch, a slut by people, including by people like Chris Mutrangwa. These are important, influential members of government who can call her a hure. This woman who was in the typing pool and then plucked up by a very powerful man. In fact, the most powerful man in our country, to be made into a wife. We called her a hure. Now, as crazy as she is, was that good for us as a generation to keep calling her a whore? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we all have a lot of social issues. Olinda Chapo, how are you, my sister? Sorry for ranting.
Good afternoon. Please. Good afternoon, Kuda. It's great to see you vent. And, you know, being a father to a daughter, you know exactly how this is going to pan out. So you have to be protective of your own. If anybody can say is a poster girl of being bashed by a lot of men or being trolled by a lot of men and not being supportive, I think I was the 2017 poster girl for this. Kuda, you've been on my Facebook account. You've seen my block list.
Yeah.
What
Linda,
happened?
you need to get better internet.
Are you there?
Are you on Wi-Fi, Linda? Because we were losing you. Can you get on Wi-Fi?
Am. Hold on. Let me put this on Wi-Fi. Hold on.
Cool. Cool.
My apologies. I'm back. I put it on Wi-Fi. Kuda, I was asking you a question.
Fantastic.
You've been on my block list, and how many people live on my block list?
I think there was over, I don't know, 50,000. I think it was crazy.
Yeah. And 98%
city.
of the people that are actually on my block list, it's men. It's men that are constantly bashing me for speaking out against somebody that was being abusive towards me. It's men because vanoziva javanoita in all facts. And I believe, unfortunately, there's so many parts that I've touched in life where our whole country as a nation is completely on mute when it comes to abuse. It's not just about what happens to Prince Edward. It's not just about what happens to Nafadzai. It's not about what happens to Olinda. It's not about what happens to Amanda. We came and we talked about young girls in Epworth, right? That are being paid 50 cents per person or 50 cents around. You were there, Kuda. You can vouch for me. You heard these girls and their stories on a one-to-one basis. And they say that most of their customers were big-bellied men in fancy cars that drove all the way out to Epworth, right? To go and sexually exploit these young girls. Not in the sense equity, I'm this big-bellied CEO of a company, I drive a nice car, let me educate this girl child. Instead, they think it is correct for them to take their big-bellied self and go and put all that weight on top of a 9-year-old.
On a child.
Of a 9-year-old, a child that has got... Fadzai is a grown-ass woman that can even speak her mind and protect herself. But we've got cases like 9-year-olds that can't protect themselves. We've got young kids in schools, kunana PE, kunana, that cannot be protected, right? We are having young girls falling pregnant at the age of 15, 16. Instead of re-educating those young girls, putting them back to school. Unotoona vabereki vachitodaidza mapurisa kuti ukasarora mwana wangu ndikukuendesa kujeri, right?
Yeah.
So I think all in all, right, before we even talk about the musical arts or whatever other arts they are, our whole community, our whole society as a whole has got a big problem with pedophilia. It's got a big an unspoken disease. Unfortunately, the people in government will not talk about it because they are the predators. Ndivo vacho ivavo vari ma-MP nemachinemai, ndivo vacho ivavo vari kuenda vachinokwira vana vadiki vane 9 years and paying them 50 cents, right? So as a woman, as a mother, I get so shocked. Why is it up until now? We could arrange all these mamachi to go famba 1 million machi amai mugabe, but yet we cannot organize mamachi equity. Enough is enough. We will not tolerate pedophilia in our communities anymore. And this if the authorities are not going to really breathe down, kubusta kwa masoja nematenga avo kuti watiri kuona achuya panapa kuzokwira vana vadiki vane ma9 years vane ma10 years. But you'd find that there's all these things, and I'm not even going to talk about Kuti, the government, right? We've got potential presidential candidates, we've got potential members of parliament, we've got potential all those people that are trying to campaign for this country, be it MDC, be it ZANU PFB, whatever. That's how they win our hearts. That's how they win our votes. By actually putting away Jacques to say that, you know what, child marriages will not be accepted in Zimbabwe anymore. Ukaonekwa une mukadzi ari under the age of 18 uri kuenda kujeri. Wacho akakurodza kana kuti akanorora ari kuenda kujeri. It changes our mindsets and the way we think, right? Like you said, when you were at Prince Edward, you guys found this normal. Could other young boys were being sexually abused? What about the boys before your generations, the ones before your generation, right? That's why you find a lot of people have got a lot of deep-seated issues because they're not being, the people that are supposed to be safeguarding them are the same people that are abusing them. So as a woman and as a person with a voice and a huge platform, I think, well, you know what? Enough is enough. We will not be having this anymore. We will not be sitting by idly. Whether mukadzi, murume, any person that has been a mother, a father, an aunt, an uncle, under the age of 18, they should be screaming for bloody murder. Right?
I mean,
our society has to stop.
And the thing is, I just want to add to what you're saying is that there's this unspoken silence that we have. We know who the pedophiles are. We know the guys who, when they're around women, they behave fucked up. We know all these things. And I think as a society, for example, when I'm walking around corporate Zimbabwe and I see and I hear some of the things that are happening, as a person who lived in the UK for 15 years, I can tell you this today. There is a lot of, in fact, 90% of Zimbabwean males in the workforce right now would be in jail in the UK for sexual harassment.
Absolutely.
Because a woman should be able to come to work and not feel that she's immediately going to be objectified, immediately going to be sexualized, and immediately going to be harassed. It's almost as if in Zimbabwe we've now abdicated and say, but I believe that we now need to say, guys, that it's not okay. Right? It's not okay that these young actresses are being forced to live with these
that is my point exactly.
It's not okay.
It's not just about Kuti. Vusa said this or that. Look at the bigger picture, right? There has to be zero tolerance of any type of abuse whatsoever. Be it sexual abuse, be it underage abuse, any type of abuse that is sexually be it female, be it male, be it underage or be it to a grown woman and a 40 years, aripabasa, has to stop. And I feel like our law and our society has not been paying enough attention to that part of Mutemo. They have not been, and I'm sure to Mutemo Uriko, but it is not being enforced enough. So we are now
and you know what, OC, I mean, I'm going to cut you off a little bit and just say, you know what, just as a point of principle, I must also say that from some of the abuse that you got last year, some of that abuse actually came from me, okay? And some of the body shaming came from me. Now, I thought it was ironic because I'm a very big fat bastard. So I was trying to be ironic. I was trying to be witty. I was just being funny. And so some of the abuse you got last year was actually from people like me. And you and I have obviously have moved past that. We've spoken. We've built a family relationship in a sense. And I think it's important that we, you know, there's redemption. People can change. You know, I think it's very important that people can build relationships. It was very easy for people to know that I was Tana's friend and so forth. So
either way, abuse is abuse. No matter what form it comes in, abuse is abuse. And we as to know we're not going to be accepting this type of nigrini. And what concerns me the most is the fact, Yakuti, when a woman comes and says, I have been abused, and it's one woman's voice and how she is accepted and treated from there will allow 1,000 more to open up, right? So
Linda, why didn't you help Gonyet with your big reach when she was being tormented and slaughtered when she came out against her situation at the job?
When Gonyet's issues was happening, unfortunately, I still had my own dramas that were happening at that point. So I was still trying to take care of me. But point being is now you've got this one woman that has spoken out. Why are we as women being the number one people that are trolling Amanda, Varkutuka Amanda, but that are body shaming her, that are saying all these things against her? Are we not supposed to be? Kuti nasi babwe mwana kumba kusikudyiwa sadza not kune nyaya ya Amanda. Nasi babwe mwana mbamuno ndibvise hebe kune nyaya ya Amanda. We're supposed
there's
to
also other
together.
Victims. There's also other victims. These directors who she's naming and shaming are married men. Their wives are victims. They probably have kids. Their kids are victims. So we need to look at the broad aspect of the amount. There's a lot of victims in this situation. So listen, sis, I'm gonna please keep watching. I hope I can bring you back if you want, and then I can let some of the other people want to be added. Come on.
No problem.
But there's a lot of victims, so let's keep talking. But thank you for joining me, sis. I always appreciate you. Sorry, someone else wanted me to add them, so I'm just scrolling down and so see if I can add them. But if you can just click add again, or just say add, I'll gladly add you. So for those who are just joining us, I think it's important to say that we're talking about some of the silence issues that we have as Zimbabweans, where we just don't bother to talk about things. We don't bother to, because a lot of the times we know what's going on in our country. We know the people that are. We know the people who are perpetuating some of these bad behaviors. So what we are saying is this: as a generation, we now need to say the buck stops with us. We can't just put up about the politics. The politics is part of it, but there's other things that we have to now think about. Why is it my daughter Rutendo cannot walk to the shops 500 meters down the road? Because she says, Dad, I can't walk there because as I walk there, I keep getting harassed by the gardeners and the guys, Msika, whatever, they just harass her. Why is it that my daughter can't walk to the shops? Whereas my sister, when she was young, could walk to the shops. There's a lot of bad things happening in our community, which don't need government to involve. It now needs us as the people to say, no, enough is enough. It's not okay. The blesser culture is not okay. The abuse of young women is not okay. When young women are brave enough, and you have to understand that for a young woman to stand up against an entire industry, you saw what happened with Blaqs, right? As soon as this young lady went against directors who Blaqs probably doesn't even know, he went on the defense, correct? It's a very brave thing for a young woman to come up and say, oh, hold up, this is bullshit, right? We're getting abused, we're getting misused, right? It's such a terrible place to be when you're now being attacked for that position. So I think it's important. Okay, let me just add Florida here. So I'm just saying, you know, we're talking about it now, and I just, as a father, as a man, as a husband, as a son, as a brother to sisters, I want to speak to you guys. Florida, how are you?
Hi Kuda, how are you?
Fantastic. What do you have to say about all this?
Oh, okay. I'm currently working for an adult rape clinic here in Harare. So I got this issue like Tondibata because I got the audio power I send them a group. I was like, oh my goodness, because these are the type of issues we're dealing with on a daily basis. It's hard every day when people. I'm actually happy, Kuti. People like you are speaking out right now regarding this issue. Nekuti, it's a rape culture in Zimbabwe. Tangira pa the little things. Unonzwa mana chiudzwa ane 5 years, and we grow up and people think it's okay. Statements that are na Vusa at the end of that audio. Kuti. Hans, you want to use your VJ to gain publicity, and you want to. And what's wrong with a man wanting to just have sex with you? Like they're entitled. And I was trying to blame him. I cursed out at what he said. Then I thought after, this is how boys talk. This is how men sit on tables or drinks because our culture has made it okay to have those conversations. And most of these people, muma industries akadaro, and I'm sure vari arts because I know Vusa is it a producer or please correct me?
A videographer, yeah.
Yeah, and these are the people who are not dealing women look up to them, Machiti, oh, I can get an opportunity, I could break our industry because of this person, Chichi, and then they come out and say that. So imagine how many people we have who are doing the same thing, and they are quiet, have a school taura because they feel like vano threaten or vano udzwa. So let's not ignore, guys. The stats are there. We have this clinic by Paringatwa, and every day I have to learn now to deal with these cases and not take them on a face view. Like it's still the people who are actually infected because of things like this. So we have to start speaking up against it. And rape culture, I see joke, I see oh no, let's not fight about who is right, who is wrong. Yes, women perpetuated, men perpetuated. Hapana munu ari exempt. We are all in this. Say even comments on social media. How do you speak to victims or survivors of sexual violence? Ndikati kutanga chastise munu, but uyu dressing yanoita she thinks perpetuating rape culture handisi kutombo handingatozoti ndakasiyana naVusa. So if you're that person, you've been there, you stand and you say but munhu yari guilty, you are a Vusa on your own. So and Vusa Blaqs is watching with you. So ngatisada kublema vanhu vanozobatwa, ngatitangirei in our conversations with your boys, with your girlfriends. How do you talk about victims where sexual violence or people who come reporting to you kuti have been assaulted? Don't wait until it's your neighbor or your best friend or your sister or your daughter to speak up. Let's speak up now. So that's what I just wanted to share with you, Kuda. And I do hope, Kuti, this starts a big campaign. So I can't go on.
Well, my sister, I think what I was saying to the wife was this: as young women yourselves, is it not time for you guys to actually be more proactive in change? Because, like I said, it's easy to find a villain, right? So Vusa can easily become the villain of the issue, and yet the real villain is the two producers that Amanda mentioned in her audio, correct? So
yes,
there's other villains. Like I said, in school we had a culture of keeping quiet when young boys were being abused. Is it not time now for us to actually have serious dialogue, and you guys actually have a committee that goes and investigates and comes out with a report even after 6 months? Well, this is the report we've discovered as far as systematic and institutional rape culture that needs to be dealt with.
I'm going to post links of our thread, Paco,
Sorry, guys. Someone keeps calling.
so that
Sorry,
people
someone keeps calling.
Okay, Anga sticker. So I was saying
Yeah.
I'm going to put
So I'm
my
saying,
link on the page. Kuchoti vanhu vari kuda kutaura, they can come in, and then we join hands in this campaign, because now that we have people Vakada, yes, I don't want Vusa to be a scapegoat for this. Like I was saying, Inini, I'm talking about the whole rape culture system that is already prevalent in Zimbabwe. So that's what we want to attack. We don't have the next person and the next person actually at the same thing. So this is what we want to deal with right now. Sakandi Chaku Ikij, I'm just going to be posting the link, Ipapa. Then yeah, we'll talk Kuseri later on. All right, cool, sharp.
Thanks a lot for it. God bless you. Cheers. Sorry, Florida kept being disrupted because someone keeps calling my phone. It's actually somebody watching this, which is really weird. I don't know why people do that. But when you call, it disrupts the call. Alex, I'm trying to add you, but then you can't be added. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to add you again. It seems like your phone can't be added, Alex, for some reason. It doesn't have the icon next to it. So I don't know if you want to go out and then come back in, and make sure you're watching with the right aspect ratio as well. Cesar, let me try and add you. Again, Cesar, you're also one of the people who I can't seem to add. I'm going to add Marcy here. I'm going to try and add. Okay. Marcy, how you doing? So, Marcy, sorry, first say what you have to say, then I'll sort of explain where I was going with this. Go ahead.
You know what? There's no right or wrong to trying to address this. There's no right or wrong. Olinda is right in the approach that she's mentioned. The Florida is right. You are also right in the issues that you brought. But there seems to be one real caring thing that happens in all this, is each time women talk of abuse, it ends up with either the victim, who is the woman, is blamed, or the other women in the community get all blamed for not supporting a woman. But my question to you, Kuda, when you stand right there where you are standing, are you representing yourself and women, or are you representing yourself and other men? What exactly have you called other men to do? You've called us women to do something. What exactly have you called the men in our society to do? You're always passing the buck to women.
So listen. I mean, I'm one of the people who, if you go on my timeline, you need to go and watch when my
let's not go on the timeline. Let's not go on the timeline. Right here in the industry, right? Have you called on other guys? Have you called on other guys to spread this news about the Zemura brothers? You know them. You know their names. You know the guys who've been mentioned in this abuse. How come you have failed to mention them? How come you have shamed by name?
Yeah.
But the name of Amanda is very easy to come out of your mouth. Why are men calling on women to band together to work? Why have I not heard you saying Inini as a Zim prominent person, AC Lumumba, I'm calling you as my brother. I want you to stand with me against Zimura. And you call out Titan. We support your music. We've seen Titan and Adrian working with what's his name? With Vusa. Why? When you want us to buy your CDs, you are okay with women bending in to support you. But I've not heard you calling Titan or calling Adrian to come and say, brothers, come here. Vusa has aired. Now stand with me and let's caution our brother. Why are you passing the buck to women? Can we be real? When we are tackling these issues, let's not
you obviously
stand on your ground.
You obviously have to give me an opportunity.
No, my
brother.
Hold on.
No, you have to also give me an opportunity, because you're making sweeping statements.
Let's make one statement. The first post you made after you were contacted about what Blaqs did was to post an apology that Blaqs had said. You did not post the 3 voice notes.
I was tagged.
You were tagged. You were tagged. But then
I
you've
was tagged.
spoken
Yeah.
about his apology.
Yeah.
Have you spoken about the 3 times that Blaqs was given an opportunity to apologize? So I find that a bigotry
Okay.
attempt
Can I address
on
that?
trying to help.
Can I address that? Can I address
All
that
right.
also?
Address
Okay,
it.
so the way I got to know about this was in the morning. I got contacted by Bren. Bren
Yes.
contacted me about this and sent me the voice note. My first instinct immediately was to contact Vusa Blaqs, which is what I did, and he can verify this. And I gave him the worst fucking bollocking I have given to another man in my entire life, as a father, as a husband, as a son. And I'm his older bro, so I speak to him with no strings attached. Okay. The next thing he did was he then put up an apology. Okay. As he was putting up an apology, I was then on the phone with Bren. Okay. From the phone call with Bren, I then went on Zimbo Live TV and I watched the Amanda interview. From watching the Amanda interview, I have now come here to speak to you guys. So, literally speaking, I have not had an opportunity to even see some of your comments yesterday. I have not heard the other 3 comments that Vusa has made. What I did hear was about an hour and a half of Amanda's story on Zimbo Live TV. And that's what struck me to come on live and say, no, I understand what she's saying because I know what's happening. I've seen it. I know the houses they live in. One of them is on the way to Greendale. I've been there to pick up 2 actresses for a Titan video. And then my guilt was, am I complicit in perpetuating this bullshit, which is why I came here to talk to you guys. So, yes, you may say that, what have you said to men? I am trying, and I'm not done enough, and I'm trying right now to say to my brothers, just like I did with the Grace Mugabe issue, just like I did with the Mai Mujuru issue, just like I did with the Thokozani Kupe issue. These women are very unpopular. But at the same time, we don't just then call them whores. We don't call them fambis. Because these are mothers, these are grandmothers, and so forth. So this is my initial attempt to try and say, how do we not just complain about politics, but also complain about some of our own bad behaviors, some of our own cognitive dissonance, some of our own sexist behavior. Which is why when Olinda was talking, I had to admit that I was part of the problem. I also used to troll her and body shame and call her names. I'm trying, it's a self-reflection, my sister. So in your comments, I was seeing a lot of adversarial talk, and I'm saying it's not necessary because we're literally on the same side.
Kuda, me and you, if I was talking to a different brother who's ignorant, I wouldn't challenge him to do anything. I only say this to you because you are one of the rational men in our community where sisters can come to you and we cry and we bear ourselves and we say, you act for us. That is a good thing. We are showing that we trust you enough to come to you and we say, Kuda, you do something. If I was talking to my brother, I would not even explain whether I was wearing a miniskirt, pamusika, why this guy touched my bum. I would say that guy violated me and my brother would go and kick ass. Whether I was wearing miniskirt or not. And that's how I want to report to you, Kuda. I want to come to you and say Blaqs has violated me. And Iwewe, you don't go searching into my past to see who I slept with. I want you to pick up arms and go fight for a sister. Whether ndiri fambi, whether ndiri prostitute, whether ndakayenda ne. That's how we come to you, Kuda. I wish other Zim men could be as open as, bearing themselves for us to come and blame you. I can't blame Blaqs. I tried to do that yesterday. I tried to make my brother realize something. He insulted us back. He came 3 times and insulted us and told us that he will continue to use the language that he does with no filter because that is his creative mind that allows him to win awards. So I can't talk to Blaqs, but I can talk to you and say maybe you understand a different way to speak to this fool. I like Blaqs. I followed him when he was with Titan and Adrian. I know the kind of work he does. I accept that he's talented. But what I will not tolerate, Kuda, is when he talks to us like fools. And then we get other men coming up and telling us about his talent and then blaming us. That is what I will not tolerate. And if we start going one-on-one on what women and men should do to support each other, we can wake up tomorrow and destroy all your fucking talents, because all those videos, you need us women to come and dance. You need us in your movies. So if Makatanga to start throwing the bucket at us, we can do the worst to you. So can you pick up the brunt on your end, so that when we meet as peers, you can say, Mercy, pick up this end of the bucket. Don't just throw everything at me and say, why are women not petitioning? Why are women not doing this? I want to see you calling out all the guys in the industry. By the end of this month, can we have people, you are kissing us. I don't know what these Zimura brothers give you. You are kissing us. Their names must be mentioned. You will still eat, because I will support you when they shut you out of business. Don't protect fools. Do not protect fools. I would rather Zim Awards be won by respectable men.
The reason why I didn't want to throw the Zimura brothers under the bus, because they're currently the accused. I was trying to get my head around the facts. So, for example, I hope that Amanda's gone to the police, and if she needs support, people like me are very happy to help support. If she can go and report this, and we actually get to the bottom of the truth of this, where we get other statements, so that what we don't do is we don't become a knee-jerk reactionary type of people who then, you know what happened with the young, what's his name, the young comedian Aziz, who was actually thrown on the bus for no reason because of the Me Too movement going out of hand. And I'm trying to say, we can still have a Me Too movement in Zimbabwe, which is slightly more sane and does not start to throw, because these guys are fathers, their husbands, or whatever. So if these allegations are absolutely true, let's put them through not just the court of public opinion, because that's not a good place to judge these things. They have to be put, other people have to now come up to the fore. Have other women been affected?
Can I close by asking you this?
Sorry, people.
All right.
So what I'm saying is that I'm not trying to defend these guys. What I'm saying is that right now we have an accused. Those two gentlemen are accused, and then we have someone who has been brave enough to come and say, I am accusing them, right? So the reason why I'm trying to amplify her accusation and not trying to amplify their names is because I don't know the facts, and I'm trying to also be objective in what I'm saying. However, like you've challenged me on this, and I am definitely going to make sure I pick up the phone and call people like Pastor E, call people like people with loud men, people like Prof, to say, guys, we
not
need
just
to be
them
participating. Yeah.
Not just them. If Nelson Chamisa is an advocate, what policies is he championing right now to protect the rights of women? Before you start voting for him, can you test him on this case? Let's see how he changes policy on the abuse of the women child in Zimbabwe. Don't vote for him because you like his face and you like saying he's an advocate. Let his skills be put to test. Let's see him passing through parliament, a policy or a guidance note or anything that will force this, so we don't start here. What does he do in parliament? Which causes does he support? Which causes? Before he builds bullet trains, he should be fighting for the injustice on the street. Before you start voting him for bullet trains,
Absolutely.
Test him now. Test him now. Go and report this case to him now. Let's see what he does. Let us see what he does. Is he a credible prime minister?
We want to see what he does. We want to see what he does also with the abuse that Thokozani Cooper is receiving online from his supporters. People who are calling her a whore and calling her a slut and so forth. We absolutely need to, as men, to stand up against, because it's not okay. I think that's my biggest hashtag. It's not okay. It's not okay for young women to believe that they need blessings to go through university. It's not okay
let others
for men to believe their position of power.
Let me let others come in. But when men come here, you talk to brothers. Don't talk to us, because you make us angry. You either defend us, don't start blaming us.
I got you. Thank you very much, Marcy. We always enjoy talking to you guys. Does anybody else want to be added, please? Mia, where are you at, sister? Are you anywhere close? I was trying to add Mia before. Then she said she went to the toilet to talk to us, but then she disappeared. Mia, come back. Alex Zezur Rockstar, I'm failing to add you, my brother. I don't know what's happening with your phone. I'm failing to add you. Add more. I'm trying to add you. I can't add you. Who else wants to be added currently? Mia, you don't seem to have an icon on your... Okay, there you are. Let me try and add you now. I'm gonna try to add you again, Mia. So, guys, I'm trying to be. It's very, very easy on these social platforms to name and shame people. Okay. So I'm trying to also be responsible. These gentlemen are named in public. They're even in the paper, the Zamora brothers. They've been named and shamed. And I would like them to also get due process, because it's easy for, I've just been through a crazy bad divorce and so forth. I know how easy it is in times of anger and also to try and defame each other's names when you're trying to make a point. So at the same time, I was trying to avoid just going in on people I don't know. I was looking far more at the broader picture. I was not trying to zone in onto one particular issue. I was trying to hone in onto issues that I am more familiar with. So I'm not trying to protect anybody. I was also trying to just be righteous in my approach.
Hi.
Mia, how are you?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Fantastic. Talk to me. What do you think about this issue?
Yo, bro, this is a crazy. Hi, everyone. You remember I called you that time and I was asking you for advice on, the statute of limitations,
Hey, Mia,
right?
we're trying to hear you. Are you gone?
Let
Yep.
me earphones. Right? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we can hear you better. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Right. Remember the
Hi,
last
go
time
ahead.
I
Yeah,
had
we
a
can hear you
phone
now.
and if you know about any statute of limitations, right? And it was
Yeah,
regarding a rape, right? I
yeah,
had a conversation with a lady called Sibisai Magombo Clark, and she was raped in Zimbabwe as an 8-year-old child. And then on the
yeah,
same day, I also had a conversation with a brother called Gary Twala, who was also molested
yep,
by a politician, a well-known politician in Bulawayo, maybe in Zimbabwe as well. He named him
yep,
as well, Anand John Komo, right? And
yep,
then this
yep.
also is happening, right? What's going on is really why the reason why we started the hashtag equity.
Know what's happening. There's someone people keep complaining about called Obemi. I can't see this person. I don't know how they're on my feed. If they're causing junk, I'm Obemi. Okay, so this clown needs to go. Okay, so let's get rid of that person. Let's get him out of our conversation because he's causing trouble. Okay, so he's gone. Malume says, but Amanda is not crazy, so I'm gonna add Malume. Malume, I'm not saying Amanda's crazy. I think Amanda's incredibly brave. I know that she's got serious issues now in the industry. She'll find it harder to get work and so forth. But I believe her, and I would love to see if she can actually get some sort of justice for what's been happening in her life. Me, I'm trying to re-add you. Somebody obviously called me and then disrupted the feed. Facebook really should fix this ad thing. It's great when it works, but when it doesn't work, it really sucks, eh? Okay. Okay, so Mia is now refusing to come on. I'm gonna try to add Ceci and keep trying to add Ceci for some reason. Sorry guys, it's like some guys are addable, some are not addable. I just don't know what's happening. Benson, I'm trying to add you. You're not addable right now. For some reason, you're not addable. Okay, should I just wind up now, guys? Let me just keep trying to add a couple more people. Seriously, guys, it's now literally not allowing me to add people for some reason. I'm trying my best. So let me try add one more person. Nope, not adding anybody. Okay, Benson, I'm trying to add you now. Now it like just gives me a little picture. It doesn't say connecting on the side. That's the problem. So it's not saying connecting. Safi just requested. Let me try some. Okay, Safi is saying adding. So obviously it could be something with time of request or something. I don't know. Not edible. Not edible. Addable. Not edible. Addable. Okay. The person not answering. Mia, let me try and add you one more time. Okay, now you're adding me. Let's go.
Hello?
Hey, sorry. So you spoke about some of these politicians when I John Mkomo and everything. Go ahead. Keep going.
Right. So what's really common in everyone from the day that we started talking about this, right, per life, I kid you not, I get over 20 messages now. In those first 2 weeks, I was getting over 50 messages. And the narrative is the same, right? That's the reason why I started a hashtag Inonzi, hashtag talk to me. It wasn't to say only women are victims, because I can see other people saying, well, men are victims too, or something like that. It was so that we can start a dialogue on abuse, any form of abuse to any other person, male or female, right? And right now, this is very interesting because now that is another angle of this topic, ichivaku industry, entertainment, right? So when we talk, why are you talking about Amanda? And my answer is simple. Just because somebody's having a concert on breast cancer doesn't mean that HIV doesn't matter. You cannot go to a different, you know what I mean? Today, we are spearheading the Amanda story so that we can actually open dialogue on everything to do with abuse, right? And I am urging and asking anyone that can actually follow through and use that hashtag talk to me, hashtag I am Amanda, because we are having these dialogues. We are not trivializing one person for another. We are actually having these conversations. And may I just say, I have so much respect for you for having this conversation, first of all, as a public figure and as a male and as a person who has worked closely with this guy and a person who's in the industry. God knows how many people would be looking at you funny right now for having this conversation, but it has to be had anyway, you know. And one other thing that I would like to add to this whole conversation is the fact that let's not always like divert things into something that is, you know, that then takes away from the momentum. The lady I spoke to, Anunzi Magumba Nditka, who talked about, she was very brave. She narrated her whole ordeal when she was subjected to abuse at 8 years old, right? And she woke up this morning and said to me, I can't find my video. Then they got told about it. And then it reminded me that even though she has talked about it, right, it's just the beginning of these things. So we suggested that today I'm going to start a group called Talk to Me. Again, it's just called hashtag Talk to Me. And anyone who wants to be admin, even yourself, bro, because I say to her, the important thing that we should do when we do this is to have people from all walks of life, right? We can have men, women, people in all parts of the world, like quick stuff, which are really active all the time, so that we can actually push this forward. However you structure it, I am going to provide the platform for it. And please, let's have this dialogue because you are helping somebody to heal. Like, yeah, on the same subject, right? There is a lady who was actually being kept as a sex slave, right? It was difficult to take that story because guess what? A lot of our Zimbabwean brothers and sisters are actually being subjected to that. But nobody wants to talk about it. So please, let us talk about it. And again, I am so sorry to any victim and any survivor who is still there. You know, my message to anyone, even when I support someone abuse, but anyone who's having to support somebody going through this, right? I want to leave this message. It's HOPE, HOPE. For me, it stands for Hold On, Pain Ends. Even as a citizen, you're looking at this and you're thinking, whoa, what's going on? Let us just hold on because the pain is going to end. Eventually, we are going to be brave enough to speak up, or we're going to be brave enough to say, actually, even though I like you, Kuda, even though I like you, Mia, I'm not down with what you've done because you've victimized somebody else. So I had to come and speak, bro, because you know, I feel very.
Look, I appreciate you joining the conversation. It's a tough conversation. I'm glad that we're having it. So I'll check you out. Hopefully you go live tonight and we can see what's going on at that point. Cheers,
yeah, man. I am actually going to go live early so that everybody else can be a part of it. I'm going to open the group in the day. I'm going to go live at 5 o'clock today, 5 o'clock UK time, which is 7 o'clock. And please, anybody who wants to be admin on it, let me know. Wherever you are, we want this place to stay active so we can keep talking about it. And, you know, like you're saying, when everybody else, my organizations and propel this forward, yes, please do that. I will do what I can, which is advocate as much as I can. So, hey, the boss needs me.
Cheers, Mia. God bless.
All right. You too.
So anyway, guys, so I've been having trouble adding people. The Zulu Rockstar, I've been trying to add you. Benson, I would have loved to hear your point. I'm trying very hard to add as many people as possible. Benson, I'm trying to add you now. It's literally flashing and then disappearing, so it's not saying. So let me just sum up. Listen, guys. So we started off this conversation with me narrating and letting you guys know about some of the things that have happened in my life, as far as seeing things and not being able to articulate them because of issues around silence and around the muzzling of some of these issues in this country specifically. So I really, really would like us as a generation to say no to that. It's not okay for some of the things that are happening that are endemic in our arts industry, that are happening in industry and commerce, that are happening in government. There's a lot of real issues that are happening right now that as a generation we need to deal with. We don't need one villain. We don't even need two villains. We need to deal with the entire systematic problem, the entire institutionalization of the rape culture, the abuse culture, what's happening amongst women. You know, I happen to be a part of a campaign of a young female candidate for Zaimaere. And every day, every single day, if you go into her inbox, if you go onto Twitter, you see the amount of abuse she gets every single day. People talking about her private parts, people talking about why she's not married, why she's not got children at 30, blah, blah. Like, she constantly gets abused, and she's being abused by these weak males who seem to have very low self-esteem by themselves. So hence find it easy to attack and be derogatory and troll women online. And I think as a generation, we just now to say it's not okay. It's not okay for Tokozani Kupe to be called a whore. It's not okay for Maimu Juru to be called a whore. It's not okay for Grace Mugabe to be called a whore. It's not okay. It's just not okay anymore, ladies and gentlemen, for us as a generation to accept some of these things and you say, well, it's all good. So we must now hold each other accountable. We must hold each other to the highest standards. You know, I like for me personally, the reason why I called Vusa Blaqs was because I hold him to a higher account. And the fact that he said sorry to me, you have to say sorry to the victims of what you said. And he's done that. Now it's up to the victims to either accept that or see if they want to torment him some more. I mean, that's now up to them. Okay? But what I'm saying is that as a generation now, I understand why the response has been so vehement and so aggressive. We need to restore our Ubuntu. We need to restore a place where our women can be put onto pedestals and can actually become our mothers and our sisters. People that as men we should be proud to protect. You know, we should protect our innocence. Like I was telling you in Prince Edward, there's a lot of young boys who are being raped or who are being abused at a young age. And we all know about it somehow. We all joked about it. I mean, if you talk to most Prince Edward boys circa my era, they'll tell you stories and they'll say, yeah, no, we knew this poor guy was getting buggered by that teacher, and we used to see them in the teacher's cars getting taken out, out. So we all sort of knew what was going on. None of us said anything. So I'm just saying, this culture of being quiet, we're letting these things perpetuate and go crazy. You remember that Kenan Banana, for example, he was convicted of raping an entire football team of men. And nobody said anything. Do you see my point? We're now at a weird place in our country where we continually allow pedophiles to dwell amongst our midst, sexual perverts, sexual deviants, and so on and so forth. And I think it's about time that we don't just complain about the politics, about the lack of service delivery. We don't just go. We need to understand that we tolerate these issues. We tolerate the issues, and then they become real problems. Okay, we now need to, as a generation, say it's not okay. If the buck stops with us, it's not okay. We are not going to be accepting this from each other anymore. Enough is enough. You know, we just have to, as a generation, not accept it anymore. Yeah, it's a tough subject. I'm a father. I got daughters. I know how these things work. It's not good. I had one more person that I'm out. If they accept Magumbo, I'm trying to add you. If you accept, then you're the last person, then you go.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. I'm not going to say much. People, they know who
Yeah,
I
go
am
ahead.
listening. Yeah. You know, I'm the one I was talking about. The lady was raped when I was only 8. And I find out kuti because zvakaitika kudhara, there is not much help you can get. And zvinongorova. There is nothing, hapana zvinoitwa, zvinongorova. Zvakatoitika because wakanyarara for so many years, and zvinoti zvangonyararwa. Zvinongotaurwa like what we are doing now. We can talk, but it's not helping me. It's not doing anything. People, they come and say, oh no, we can help you, we can help you, we can do this, but there's nothing. There's nothing. Zvinoita kuti unozivani kuti vanenge vakaita izvo zvezvo kana vari big people, they get away with it. That's it.
Yeah.
Unozivani, uri kupi, unoitei, wakanga uchizvida. That's all I can say, because there is no help. As much as we can talk, we can open our mouth, but there is no help up there. There is no help. That's when I know there is no help. We can talk, we can hashtag whatever, but no help. There is no help whatsoever. Yeah, that's all I can say.
My sister, thank you very much. Thank you for your courage. Like you said, it's not easy. It's not easy to talk about some of these things, and I think it is brave of some of our sisters who are coming up and telling us some of these ones. I think my whole thing is that there may not be a help, but I think there needs to be less of us complicit with some of these things happening. We need to be more realistic as people, and how we care for each other, as a society. If we allow abuse in public forums, if we allow abuse on Twitter, if we allow abuse on Facebook, if we allow women to be objectified, called whores, our mothers, our wives, our siblings, then our society is going to keep descending into a space where we see people like that who are very broken and hurt. So I think I'm very sad. It's very sad for me. So yeah. It's been good chatting. Thank you guys for joining me. I know the conversation is going to keep going on. I strongly suggest if you want to keep talking about some of these issues, people like me are very good accounts to follow. People like Brian Mupa are very good accounts to follow. I know Sister Olinda Chapel is very passionate about some of these issues. I really hope that they continue to push this issue and not die. People like Olinda can easily get 5 times the numbers I get. I'm just talking maybe from my own little side perspective. I'm hoping that some of you bigger names and bigger accounts can actually keep pushing some of these issues forward. So thank you very much for joining me. I shall go and cuddle my bae. Tell her she's lovely. Tell her she's special. Tell her I love her. And rightfully so, because I think that's where we should be. Later, guys.